Hello again, and welcome back to Real Talk Behind the Badge. This is part 3 of our proposed False Arrest Compensation Act. Now, if you haven't watched the first 2 parts, I recommend that you do that first. You'll be able to get the URLs down below, and just click on more, and they'll be in the remarks. Now, in this section, we're going to be going over the compensation framework, exclusions, access to documentation and video evidence, and the implementation of the Act. So we're going to start out with the compensation framework. Now, monetary compensation. Eligible individuals shall receive compensation based on the duration of custody and economic losses, which is like lost wages, legal fees, bail or bond, maybe towing fees if your car was towed. A minimum award of $350 per calendar day or partial day of custody is established for periods lasting less than 4 hours. In other words, if you're arrested and you spend less than 4 hours in a police station or a jail or locked up, you would be getting $350 a day. Now, for custody lasting 4 hours or more per calendar day, a minimum award of $750 is established. Additional amounts will be awarded for documented economic losses. Review and process and appeals. Claims shall be reviewed by an independent compensation board with appeals available by the claimant, the officer, or the department through, and here's where they have to come up with their own judicial or administrative body, where each state must define the board and its administrative rules and powers. Section 8, exclusions. Compensation shall not be awarded if the individual was arrested for a separate valid charge that resulted in a conviction or entered into a mutual agreement, such as a plea deal, diversion program, or settlement, that resolves the charge without a conviction or exoneration. If the arrest was lawful at the time but later deemed erroneous due to new evidence not available to the arresting officer at the time. The individual knowingly provided false information leading to their arrest. Any of those persons shall not be awarded any compensation. Section 9, which is access to documentation and video evidence. And this is important because you need the evidence a lot of times for court or to show that there was no probable cause for your arrest. So, right to access. Any individual filing a claim under this act shall have the right to obtain, at no cost or fee, all documents and video evidence related to their arrest. This includes, but is not limited to, police reports, incident reports, breathalyzer records, blood test records, arrest records, and any other record or report relating to the arrest. Body camera footage from all officers involved or present at the arrest. Dash camera footage, any surveillance camera recordings or other video evidence captured by law enforcement or public agencies during the incident. This includes any videos obtained by police from private individuals or businesses. All booking records, detention logs, and any communications, which is like dispatch records, relevant to the arrest. Process for access. Upon filing a claim, the individual shall submit a written request to the relevant law enforcement agency or the independent compensation board. The agency must provide all requested materials within 30 days in a format accessible to the claimant, such as digital files or physical copies. Redaction and privacy. Materials may be redacted only to protect the privacy of uninvolved third parties or sensitive information unrelated to the arrest. as determined by the Independent Compensation Board. Redactions must be justified in writing, and claimants may appeal excessive redactions. Non-compliance penalties. Failure by an agency to provide requested materials within the specified time frame without a waiver by the Independent Compensation Board for just cause and reason, plus notification to the claimant, shall result in a fine of $100 per day of delay payable to the claimant and may be considered evidence of bad faith in the compensation review process. The claimant may request review by the Independent Compensation Board for just cause and reasons by the agency. Preservation of evidence. Agencies are required to preserve all relevant documents and video evidence for at least 180 days following an arrest or until the resolution of any claim filed under this act, which is longer. Section 10. Implementation. This act shall be enforced by the relevant state agency that is enacted. Funding for compensation. The first $5,000 or part thereof shall be paid by the law enforcement agency, city, county, or state making the arrest. No part of this amount shall be paid by insurance or law enforcement liability pool. In other words, this makes the department or the city, the county, the agency responsible for making those payments. In addition, 5% of any award up to a maximum of $350 shall be paid by the officers making the false arrest. Plus, any supervisor present at the scene who knowingly allows or actively promotes a false arrest, as determined by the Independent Compensation Board, shall contribute an additional 10% of the compensation award up to a maximum of $750 to further promote supervisory accountability. That's the word here, is accountability. Waiver of litigation rights. Upon acceptance of any compensation or remedies under this act, the individual waives all rights to pursue further legal action in state or federal court against the law enforcement agency, officers, or governmental entities involved in the false arrest for claims arising from the same incident. This waiver shall be documented in a written agreement provided to the claimant prior to the disbursement of compensation, clearly stating the scope of the waiver and its legal implications. The waiver does not preclude legal action for unrelated claims or incidents, nor does it affect rights to pursue claims against parties not covered by this act. Now, this is important to understand. To get the state, the counties, and the cities to accept this law, we have to assure them that there won't be any further enforcement or legal action taken against them. This is important so that the city, counties, and state can be sure that there won't be any further legal action taken against them. That's what's going to make them want this law. So it's going to be your option under this law to either go under this law, or you can go to and sue in state or federal court. That's your option, but you can't do both. So that's about it for this law. If there's anything that you don't understand, you want me to clarify, please leave me a note below and I'll try and get back to you. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Thank you.